I used to think money could buy peace. From the windows of my San Francisco penthouse, the Golden Gate shimmered like a promise. Red, proud, untouchable. I had everything. A global app empire, cars that cost more than houses, a girlfriend who looked perfect in every photo. And yet, every night, I felt emptier than the last. The higher I climbed, the less I trusted. Amber laughed a little too loud when I paid the bill. My cousin Troy called only when he had a great investment idea. Even Rachel, my assistant, watched me with that polite ambition, loyal, but only as long as I signed her checks. And then there was Ella, my quiet housemaid, always moving softly, always calling me sir, her eyes downcast, her hands steady. She didn't fit my world of glass and greed. Maybe that's why I barely noticed her. That changed one night. I just overheard Amber mocking me to her friends, calling me emotionally bankrupt with $1 billion smile. Their laughter carried through the hallway, sharp and honest in the worst way. I poured myself a whiskey and stared out at the city lights. If loyalty exists, I muttered, I'll buy it or prove it doesn't. That's when the idea came to me, cold, clear, and dangerous. I was going to test every person in my life, not with words, but with temptation. The next morning, I called them all into my office, Amber, Rachel, Troy, and Ella. The room gleamed with chrome and silence. My reflection stared back from the glass wall, calm and unreadable. I placed 4 black cards on the table. Unlimited credit. No limits, no strings. Amber's eyes widened instantly, glittering like the diamonds she already saw herself wearing. Troy gave a low whistle. What's the catch, man? Rachel adjusted her glasses, pretending she wasn't intrigued. Only Ella hesitated at the back, hands folded neatly in front of her apron. One condition, I said. Spend it however you want. But I won't explain why I'm doing this. I just need to see your judgment. Amber laughed, that high, easy sound she used when cameras were on. You're serious? Completely. I slid the cards toward them. They stared for a moment, then snatched them like lottery tickets. Ella stepped forward last. Sir, she said quietly, this looks expensive. Are you sure you want me to take it? Use it as if it were your own, I said. She nodded once, hesitant. Thank you. I'll try not to disappoint you. Her tone caught me off guard. Not excitement, not greed. Just sincerity. I shrugged it off. People always say the right thing before they show you who they really are. 3 days later, I sat alone in my study, the city buzzing beneath me, and opened the statements. It was like peeling back layers of truth and seeing rot underneath. Amber's card, $480,000. Designer boutiques. Private jets. A diamond bracelet she captioned on Instagram. Self-love is the best love gemstone. Rachel's card, $200,000. Transferred quietly into an account under her name. An investment in her startup idea she'd never told me about. Troy's card, $300,000. Las Vegas. Casinos. Champagne. Photos of him in a rented Lamborghini, captioned Hustle Never Sleeps. And then, Ella's card, $8,342. Groceries. A washing machine. School supplies. And one strange charge that stopped me cold. Restoration Services, Golden Haven Retirement Home. I frowned. What the hell? I called my accountant. He didn't know. I called the vendor. They confirmed a roof repair paid under my name. For a long moment, I just sat there, staring at the numbers glowing on the screen. Every person I trusted had shown me exactly who they were, except one. So I grabbed my coat, got in my car, and drove across the city toward a small address printed on Ella's receipt. I didn't know what I expected to find, but as the skyline faded in my rearview mirror, something uneasy twisted in my chest. For the first time in years, I wasn't chasing profit. I was chasing truth. The Golden Haven Retirement Home sat on the edge of the city, a modest building with chipped paint and roses fighting through cracked pavement. I parked outside, expecting confusion, maybe even a mistake. Inside, the air smelled faintly of disinfectant and baked bread. A woman at the front desk looked up, startled. "Oh, you must be Mr. Hayes." Her voice carried that mix of respect and nervousness I'd grown used to. "I suppose I am," I said carefully. "You know me?" "Of course. Ella's been helping with the roof repairs. Said it was part of your charitable work." "My what?" I blinked. "She insisted we credit your foundation," the woman said warmly. "Said you wouldn't want recognition." For a moment, my mind went blank. Ella, the maid who apologized for using too much detergent, had spent thousands of my money fixing a roof she didn't even live under, claiming I was behind it. I followed the woman down the hall, past the scent of soup and old wood polish, until we reached the recreation room. And there she was, Ella, standing beside a table of elderly residents, ladling soup into their bowls, laughing softly at something one of them said. Her hair was tied back, her sleeves rolled up, her face bright in a way I'd never seen at my house. For a moment, I just stood there, the billionaire and the housemaid, watching her do something no one had paid her for. When she noticed me, her smile faltered. "Mr. Hayes," she started, her hands trembling slightly. "I saw the receipt," I said. "You used a card to fix this place." She nodded slowly. "The roof was leaking. They couldn't afford repairs. I thought, since you said I could use it as if it were my own, maybe it could help someone who needed it." I didn't know what to say. "You spent my money on strangers." "It wasn't just your money," she said softly. "It was your trust. I wanted to spend it right." Something in her voice, quiet, unpolished, honest, hit deeper than any speech I'd heard in boardrooms or TED Talks. All my life, I'd measured people by profit, but here she was proving that real worth wasn't in what you took, it was in what you gave away. I stood there a long moment, feeling something I hadn't in years. Shame and hope. The next morning, I called them all back to my office. Amber, Rachel, Troy, and Ella. The city glimmered beyond the glass, but the room itself felt colder than ever. For folders sat on my desk, each one with a statement printed inside. Amber crossed her legs, still dressed like the world owed her attention. Rachel fiddled with her phone, pretending composure. Troy chewed gum like he was waiting for a poker hand. Only Ella stood near the window, small and unsure, her hands folded neatly. I leaned forward. "Each of you showed me who you are," I said quietly. "I didn't need weeks. 3 days was enough." Amber laughed nervously. "Daniel, come on, what is this, some kind of game?" "No," I said. "It's a mirror." I opened her folder first. $480,000 on jewelry and champagne. You called it self-love. Her face flushed. "It was your money." "Exactly," I said. "And that's what love meant to you." Then Rachel, "You invested 200 grand into your own company without even asking. You called it initiative. I call it betrayal." She lowered her gaze, the silence swallowing her defense. Troy tried to grin. "It's Vegas, man. You said I could spend it however I wanted." "And you did," I said. "You gambled trust and called it fun." Finally, I turned to Ella. Her folder was thin, only a few pages. $8,342. I read. Groceries, a washing machine, school supplies, and a new roof for a retirement home. Amber rolled her eyes. "Oh, please. She's just trying to look good." I cut her off with a look sharp enough to stop her breath. "She didn't just pass the test," I said. "She redefined it." I turned to Ella fully. "You spent my money fixing a stranger's roof. You didn't buy anything for yourself." "Why?" She hesitated. "Because it felt wrong not to help. You trusted me. That was already more than I deserved." Something in her simplicity burned through every layer of my cynicism. I reached into my drawer and slid a new document across the desk. A deed, her name on it, and a position in my foundation, not as my maid, but as its director of outreach. Her hand shook as she read it. "Sir, I can't." "You can," I said gently. "You already did more with borrowed kindness than most do with a fortune." Amber stood up, muttering something about humiliation. Rachel followed, silent. Troy cursed under his breath and stormed out. The door closed behind them, leaving just Ella and me. For a long moment, we said nothing. Then she whispered, "Why did you do it?" I looked out at the city again. Same skyline, same bridge, but it didn't look so lonely anymore. I needed to know, I said quietly, if loyalty still existed. If decency could survive without cameras or contracts. She smiled, eyes glistening. "And did it?" "Yes," I said. "In you." That night, I stood again by the window. Same whiskey, same view, but for the first time, I wasn't thinking about money. I was thinking about roofs, about hands that give quietly, about trust that doesn't come with terms. I'd set out to prove that loyalty couldn't be bought. Instead, I learned something else entirely. That the richest people in the world aren't always the ones with money. They're the ones who still remember how to give.